Hi, and welcome to this best practices session on storage as a service. I'm Darren Cunningham here with Benjamin Henry, the field CTO at Komprise. And in this series, we've covered a lot of ground. We've gone from, what is storage as a service and why is unstructured data management so important in this model. We've covered a lot of ground on analytics and reporting and the role of tiering and archiving. Today, we're going to talk about target portability, cloud native AI ready data. Benjamin, what do we mean by that, and why is this so important?
Yeah, absolutely. So the title right here, it's all about cost-effective data access and portability. There's a lot to unpack there. I could probably go on for 45 minutes about this, but we're going to distill it down to three bullet points, and I'm going to focus on that sentence to start. Effective data access. One of the big benefits to Comprise is how we help you store your data. We keep it in native format, no matter where you put it, so that you can access the data on-prem, in the cloud, 40 miles away, 3,000 miles away. We don't care. We want you to have access to your data and leverage it where it's cost effective. So if you've tiered and archived your data and you're like, all right, you know what? I moved a petabyte of data. I need to look at about 500 terabytes of that because it was research data, it was imagery, it was something, but I don't want to bring that back on-prem to reanalyze it. And I don't even have the servers on-prem anymore to analyze that. Great. Don't leverage wherever your data is sitting in its target. A lot of time it's the cloud. So build the resources you need, spin up the compute resources in the cloud, reanalyze the data. Again, like I said earlier, your data in that target is going to be in native format. So you can turn around and take those compute resources and turn them loose on your bucket and have them analyze the objects native in the cloud and never pay to move that data around again, so that all you're bringing back is the result set. So what you once thought you had to bring back this monumental amount of data, you don't. You're leveraging it in native format where it resides in its archive, and you're just paying to reanalyze and bring the results set back. And we're also here to talk about portability. What if you're saying, I don't want to keep it in the target that it's in today, either because you have a new cloud strategy or you were cloud first and you're saying, you know what, we need to repatriate all this data for whatever reason that might be, or you got a better rate through another cloud provider. We don't provide vendor lock-in. We help you move that data. We promote data portability so that you always have the most cost-effective approach to your cloud strategy, to your on-prem strategy, whatever it might be. And I've actually already led into the first bullet point here of why is this essential to a storage as a service model? Because you're paying a lot of times for these resources on a per gigabyte per month charge, or even sometimes even a per hour charge, depending on what you're doing. So you want to make sure that your data is landing in the most cost effective model or class as possible. So let's move into now the second bullet point here and what we mean by targets and target portability. All right, so let me go over here into the demo. So here we've talked about targets before in a tiering and archiving situation. And I have that plan screen here on my page right now in front of us. And down here is target. So that little piece of real estate here on my screen is what we mean by target. Not really. Let's get into more of this. Where do I set up my targets? How do I know what targets are available to me? That's all available in the data stores tab. So I'm going to flip over here to data stores. I'm going to go ahead and click on add data store. When I go from this drop down pick list, I'm going to choose plan target this time. And from here is all the available built-in providers available to you as a target. And it's not just cloud, it's on-prem, it's NAS, it's object. So many different options in here to use as a target. So I choose my target vendor, I click on it, I add the details, and then I click add. All right, so once I've added it, how do I see just my plan targets? All right, glad you asked. Let's go back here. We have a built-in filter from the data stores page. When I click on this, all the other information goes away. And now I'm just focused on my targets, what's here and what's available as a target. Well, for me, in this configuration, I've got on-prem NAS as a target. I have Amazon as a target. I've got Azure configured as a target. And in this scenario that I'm going to demo, I had an on-prem legacy NAS environment that I used as my tiering target. Well, that became cost prohibitive when I got the renewal bill for it. It was no longer responsible for me to keep using that as a tiering target. So I partnered with a cloud vendor. So I created a new bucket, and then I go back over here to my plan tab. And like I said, I had a plan running. I've stopped it. I'm simply going to click on the edit button. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to choose my new cloud vendor. I'm going to hit done editing, and then I'm going to hit test and activate. As soon as I hit test and activate, I get to start using that new target and reaping the benefits of that savings. Well, okay, that's great, Ben. But what about all the data that I had on prem NAS? How do I get that to my new cloud vendor? Okay, perfect. That's simply a migration. Komprise lets you not only go NAS to NAS, but you could do NAS to object, object to NAS, and object to object. All those scenarios are available to you. Reach out to the Komprise team at any point in time. We'll help you plan it. We'll help you get set up and help you get started in your target migration. All right. So with that, let's jump back to the slides for a second and talk about the third and last bullet point. So here, the last bullet point is talking about rehydration penalties, avoiding lengthy and expensive rehydration penalties. So what do we mean by that? Well, a lot of vendors want to keep you in their ecosystem. They don't want you to start venturing to a different cloud provider or a cloud provider at all. Komprise does not limit you. We actually, again, we promote the portability. You don't have to rehydrate anything to move your data around with Komprise. Again, I spoke about it earlier. You can do cloud to cloud, object to object, NAS to NAS, NAS to object, object to NAS. I'm calling those out again because we allow you to move your data to be portable wherever you want to go, and you don't have to bring back any of that data. You never have to rehydrate anything to move your data around to reap the benefits of any cost savings or cost avoidance. And with that, Darren, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Fantastic session again, Benjamin. A lot of great points there. And we're going to complete our series. On the next session, we're going to talk about sensitive data management, which is another important topic, especially in the era of AI. So appreciate your time and look forward to working with you on the next one.